Hi, it's Stacy in the Oval Office, and today is April the 3rd, 2020, as I record this director's commentary for this gig log that you're getting ready to see. Of course, right now with the coronavirus happening and everything that's going on, we're not having any new wedding gig logs. So I thought we would do what we call the cutting room floor gig logs, and we're just going back through some old weddings and just adding some different commentary and looking at it from a different perspective. So that's what we're doing. Now, this particular wedding that you're getting ready to see, this took place in July of 2012, and this is in Panama City, actually the Callaway area of Panama City. And from what I understand, this area that you're looking at right now was completely devastated by Hurricane Michael in October of 2018. And I haven't actually been to Callaway in this particular part of town since I shot this video, so I'm not really sure if any of the businesses that you're seeing along the roadway here are even still standing. If anybody from Panama City happens to be watching this, so leave us a comment down below and let us know. But yeah, this area is not far from Tyndall Air Force Base, which was completely devastated by Hurricane Michael as well. So this is real close to where the eye wall came, and not far from Mexico Beach, if you probably remember hearing Mexico Beach mentioned back when Hurricane Michael came ashore. Now, the facility that we're going to used to be a bowling alley at one time. As a matter of fact, as I mentioned before, I grew up in Panama City, and at that particular bowling alley, I used to go there all the time with my church group when I was a teenager. So it's got a lot of fond memories. And then by this time, they had turned it into a banquet facility. And here you go. Here's a look at my setup from that night. You can see my two big JBL speakers that I no longer use right there. And the uplighting that you see, that's all my uplighting right there on the stage. I did every bit of that. But the facility actually provided their own uplighting that you'll see around the room here in just a second. Now, they had the main table right there in front of the DJ table, but of course I was elevated, so it really didn't have an effect too much on the lights or the sound. So we still got great lights and great sound quality, even though we were just a few feet above the head wedding table there. So yeah, that was pretty neat to have that set up. And of course, that picture you just saw, I use that as a perfect example of some uplighting when I like to present that to brides and grooms. Now, here you go. This is a look at the facility. Now, where you see the catering staff back there, that's where you used to get your shoes whenever you'd go bowling, when it was a bowling alley. And of course, when I walked in there, that's what I could think of. I still saw it as a bowling alley. And right now we're looking at the bride and groom's first dance, and you can see the mirror ball effect that light has on the ceiling there. That was, of course, provided by the facility, and I really liked that. I was really impressed by how that looked. Now, when this was a bowling alley, back there where those two steps are that you see back there in the background, that's where the the lanes were, and you'd throw your balls. So actually, the balls would be coming right toward you. And right there is the mother groom dedication song. Now, I can't really recall right offhand why they decided not to do a mother-groom dance. I can't remember if the mother couldn't dance or something like that. But anyway, they wanted me to do a dedication song. And so that's what we did here. You can see the groom, he just went and sat next to his mother while I played the song, which that was a very touching moment that night. And here we go with the bride-son dance. Now, the bride had told me when I met with her that she said her son loved the chicken dance. He'd probably requesting it over and over again. And so that's what they chose for their dance. So you can see them doing the chicken dance there. And they just really had a great time. And there I am. See how much I've changed since 2012. Yeah, there we go. Okay, anyway, you can see the uplighting there in the background. And of course, those are my megapixels that I still use today that provided that effect. And I really, was impressed on how that looked. Of course, I'm going to turn the camera around. You can see my view there at the, right there behind the head table. So you can see how everything looked. And, and it was really just a beautiful area there. Now, that computer that you see there, that's the computer that I still use in my office. As a matter of fact, that's the computer I'm using right now to record this commentary. But I had PC DJ Red on there that I used. And I've gotten two new computers since then, so I don't really even use that for gigs anymore. But I still use it in the office to edit things and still write up things. So it still does work out really well, and that's still a good computer. And here we are with the cake cutting. Of course, again, you can see the uplighting back there in the back. That was provided by the venue, and those lights were not my lights. And you can see those candles there. I thought that was really neat how they had that set up. Now, here we are getting into open dancing. Now, this was one of those weddings, and you've probably done these before, where it seems to take the crowd a little bit of time to, get out there and have a good time. Because a lot of times, people don't want to be the first person out on the dance floor, so it takes a couple songs to get everybody out there dancing and having a good time, and that was kind of what this was like. But now, under normal circumstances, what I would normally do is, like, let's say we're doing the bride and groom's first dance. When their song has about a minute to a minute and a half to go, I'll normally invite the wedding party out to join them, the bride and groom, and then we'll lead right into open dancing after that. And then what that normally does is that just kind of makes it contagious. Nobody wants to be the first person out on the dance floor, but if the bride and groom and the wedding party and everybody else are already out there, then it's sort of contagious, and people will start coming out and start dancing. So anyway, it took this group a little time to start dancing, but eventually they did. and they just really had a good time that night. And you could see them there doing some dancing and just having a great time. Of course, a lot of kids there, and they were having a good time as well. Now, those lights that you see there on the floor, those were provided by the venue as well. But now, when I shine the camera up and you see the lights on the ceiling, that was my Revo 3 and Revo 4, so I just used my lights to complement their lights as well. So we created a really neat light show with that. But again, the lights you see on the floor were by the venue. The ones that you see on the ceiling that are projecting on the ceiling were mine. So yeah, it really worked out well. It really created a neat effect there. And again, you can see them all having a good time there. Now, there we are doing the money dance. Now, if you're not familiar with how the money dance works, basically the way that that works is, we have everybody line up to dance the bride and everybody line up to dance the groom. And then what they'll do is they'll pay the bride and groom to dance with them, like $1, $5, or whatever. And I call that the bride and groom's special honeymoon fund. So it's pretty neat to check out. That's something that you may want to do at your weddings if you aren't doing it already. Alrighty, there we go. We're doing some more dancing, and they were just having a great time. And I think we played the chicken dance again here in just a little bit as they got out there and had fun. But yeah, you can see that this was one of those weddings also where a lot of the people had left early, but then we had I don't know, maybe about a dozen people that stayed until the end. Maybe not even quite that many. But the way I look at that is that if there are just two people left and they're having a good time, then I'll stay and play for them. I'd much rather have, two people there having a good time rather than, 50 or 100 people there being bored, you know what I'm saying? So that's, to me, that's always a successful event. But, yeah, they really had a good time that night. And you can see them out there dancing and all that good stuff. And, this was, like I said, this was just one of those groups that just really, just really had a great time. We actually started at about 3 o'clock in the afternoon, from what I can recall. I think we ended the reception about 8:30, 9 o'clock that night. So this was one that started early in the afternoon and then ended before 9 o'clock p.m. So that worked out really well with that. And of course, with no windows in there, we could still have a light show even if it was daylight outside. And that really didn't have an effect on that at all. But yeah, there we go with that mirror ball effect. Now, I really like that mirror ball light that they had there. That was pretty neat. And here we go. This is a shot from behind the dance floor. You can see my DJ table set up over there with the lights and everything going. So that was a lot of fun, and I just think this really created a neat effect. So anyway, this is going to wrap up this gig log. If you'd like to see the original version of this particular gig log, it's right here on my YouTube channel. I'll provide a link in the description. And we'll have another cutting room floor gig log coming up next week, so make sure you check that out. And until next time, remember to practice and enjoy, and let's keep our chin up through this coronavirus epidemic, and we'll get through it. Thanks for watching, and we'll talk to you next week.